So I entered a $50,000 tournament in the wrong MMO. For those that don't know me, I'm Muckluck, and although I do a lot of various projects, my claim to fame, if I have one, is making a ton of content for Guild Wars 2. So there's an agency I work with that tries to get me sponsorships and make connections, things like that. They come up to me one day and ask if I would be interested in playing an unannounced title based on the Warcraft franchise and participating in a Battle Royale style tournament showcase after it launches. Now, I'm not normally a Battle Royale guy, but I do enjoy the Warcraft universe. I've played Warcraft 1, 2, 3, and did near 10 years of World of Warcraft, leading a few server first to boot. Plus, a new Blizzard project? This is going to be big. Yeah, I'm game. A few weeks go by and I still don't know exactly what it is yet. Is it a whole new program, like how Heroes of the Storm was inspired by MOBAs? I have no clue. Finally, a few weeks go by and we sit into a Zoom call for a learning session about the product, which is called Plunderstorm. For the first time, I see who all else is involved in this. Holy sh**. Disguised Toast, Asmongold, Shylily? Absolutely massive names in streaming. Preach, who I briefly met during his tour of MMOs when he visited Guild Wars 2. WoW Krindor and Uber Danger, who I've watched on YouTube since before I ever made content myself. And wait, Maximum? Isn't that the Team Liquid guy who leads world first raid boss kills? Oh boy, I'm at a disadvantage here. Looking at this roster, I joked that after hiring all these huge names, they had $2 and a cup of ramen left in the budget, and that's how I got in. Yeah, I sold out to Big Ramen. So, who's my partner in this thing? Fairlight? I don't know him, but let's reach out. Oh, good, he's already messaged me. Hey yo, this is your WoW BR partner. I like winning, so I'm gonna practice probably the entire week leading up to the event. Wanted to see if you're also planning to go hard and what your schedule looks like. Well, I'm intimidated. This guy is a gamer, and I don't want to look bad. I introduce myself, and we arrange a time to start practicing duos, and I start practicing solos on my own. It's been years since I played WoW, and Plunderstorm is similar enough that I pick it up quickly. I rack up about 10 wins solo before we start doing duos. We quickly realize each other's weaknesses. I don't know Battle Royales, and Fairlight doesn't know MMOs. I teach him basics like camera controls, and he talks about decision making. At the start of our first session, he didn't know how to turn his character. By the end of it, we had gotten our first duo win. Between solo and duo practice, we probably put in 40 to 50 hours each before the day of the tournament. I also tried scouting the competition, looking on the WoW directory for anyone that said they were practicing for the Creator Royale. I saw a few people that were decent. As expected, I saw Maximum and Trill wrecking people, and I saw Peekaboo and Zaryu, who at this point I did not know, destroying folks. I wasn't sure if I could beat them, but the top 8 slots got big prizes, and after 26 wins in practice, I was feeling like it would be possible to get into that. Fast forward to the tournament. It's the day of the Creator Royale. I won't lie, I was nervous as hell being on the stage with all these people. I have 3 objectives in this. 1. Don't be one of the people getting blendered at the bottom of the scoreboard. 2. Find and fight Asmongold and type praise Joko if I win while standing over him. It's a Guild Wars 2 greeting. 3. Win everything. I run into Preach in the lobby and had a fun interaction. 1 PM hits and a countdown begins. We go into maximum tryhard mode. No one landed at the Abomination. We dive there. Fairlight gets an epic holy shield right off the bat. Nearby farm is available. This is looking like a good opening. Game canceled. It was a false start. My nerves can't take this. It turns out Asmongold was trying to figure out how to join a group and didn't make it into the lobby along with a few other people. They remake the game. This time everyone gets in and we start again. We find an open area, land, get our farm on. Had a brief scuffle with someone but chase them off. We move west into Stromgarde and run into 2 people and start fighting. During my laser-focused attempt at dodging their manosphere, I fail to notice the Tauren hanging back to the west. We start to win our fight. Nagura and Cruella DK pop consumables to get away, and we get jumped by Flop and Grayson, who lucked out in the early game and already have movement skills and crowd control. There's only 2 ways out of this. 1 is not getting caught. Too late. 2 is Fey form. I don't have it. I cannot escape and tell Fairlight to run. He loops around Stromgarde and revives me after they have moved on. I'm back in the game, but they did get my best skills and we are behind on XP now. We start farming anything we can. I find a motorcycle. We find a bush. This is a surprise tool that will help us later. Fairlight gets CC'd by Zico as the storm starts shrinking. I try to peel, but also take damage. We then have to flee the storm and we lose Fairlight. I need a boat consumable to have a chance at reviving him, but I cannot find one. At this point, our team is just me, and I have to be as sneaky as possible to get placement points because we haven't gotten any kills. Placement points are assigned based on your placement at the end, with first place getting 20 points, second place getting 19, and going down from there. I hug the storm and only move when no one is nearby, finally using the bush consumable. Masayoshi mistakes me for an actual bush and uses me to hide from others. A huge battle is taking place east of Stromgard, but I realize the circle is going to shrink past the wall. Most of those people will be trapped outside in the storm. I ditch the bush disguise and run in. Inside I find a few other people, actually near me in level, but I am horribly outnumbered and injured. As I dance around to buy time, 4 more squads die in the storm and my ranking shoots up even more. In a pivotal moment, my slicing winds fails. It's supposed to rocket you forward, but like a mage blink in WoW for the last 20 years, sometimes it doesn't if there is a blade of grass in front of you. Now, honestly, I think I was dead here, even if it had worked properly because the guy on me had the same skill, but this will come up again later. I finally fall and end at 4th place out of 30. Honestly, not bad. We didn't get any kills, but got a ton of placement points, putting us high on the board. Game 2. We start at the cove. 2 people land near us, but we manage to bully them away. We get most of the cove, but they get the farm leaving the cove, so we hit an area barren of XP as we're leaving. We run into them as we're leaving. I get a few pulls on one of the altar times with a chain I picked up, getting us a kill. We see combat to the east. I don't have good escapes yet, but I have the chain. We go in hoping to pick someone off. While fighting Mr. Gibbon and Bajira, Peekaboo and Zaryu jump in as a third party. They take down Mr. Gibbon while Bajira backs off. These two have a 2-level advantage on us, so they begin focusing Fairlight. I fight until he falls, but then using Slicing Winds, my only mobility, to get out of there. I circle back and try to get the revive on Fairlight. Bajira comes back for his own partner and tries to fight me. Now at this moment, I could have just left and done rat tactics to hope for a higher placement, but I was tunnel visioning getting my partner back up, and unfortunately, the chain is not very useful when the person wants to be in your face hitting you. So it was like fighting with one less skill. Then, at a crucial moment, Slicing Winds bugs again and moves me 5 feet instead of 20. Sadly, at the end of game 2, we only got 1 point from the earlier kill, dropping us considerably from our 4th place on the scoreboard. Game 3, they start the match, then start the match again, and half of the participants are jettisoned from their parrots. After a few moments of everyone yelling restart, they cancel it and we all just go back to the lobby. Game 3 is restarted again. We land near the quarry, have a brief 2v2 with Snuts and Pashero. I manage to take down Pashero. Snuts burns his barrel to get away. Moments later, I get jumped by Mr. GM and Scripe. I pop my barrel and manage to dodge 2 skill shots to get out alive. We enter Stromgard and find remnants of 3 teams fighting each other. We manage to pick off Preach as the battle moves away, and I pay my utmost respects. Moments later, we get into a fight with Mr. GM and Scripe, but it is interrupted when a third party shows up and we pull back. We end up in a fight that doesn't look good and we flee into the storm. I use a boat which protects against storm damage, but their last attack as we fleed broke it, ruining the idea of fleeing through the storm safely. The combined damage of fleeing back out of the storm and that team takes us down, netting us only a few kills on the board for round 3. Round 4, we land at the farms. One team lands near us, but we scare them off and get most of the farm in the area. Moments later, Flop and Grayson land on us. I glue them to the ground, but Fairlight can't get out in time and gets blundered. They have chains plus movement skills. I have neither. I grab Fairlight's barrel and take off to recover. I wait for them to leave and double back to revive my teammate. We farm for a bit, dodge some fights, and find a huge team fight where everyone is distracted and steal some loot. We later get into a fight that is looking poorly, and I threw down a fake treasure chest just hoping to distract the enemy for 1 second, and my character gets stuck on it, leading to my death. Fairlight finds a boat and revives me in the storm. At this point, I'm frantic because I still have 0 movement skills other than the slight movement speed increase from Flame Whirl. The circle squeezes everyone into Witherbark Village and I get caught, which I can do little about with my lack of mobility. Fairlight begins doing his best at hiding to place as high as possible. He briefly ducks into the storm with a new boat, but Peekaboo spots it and breaks the boat, forcing Fairlight back into the arena. He buys a few more precious seconds, then falls to Cruella Decay, earning a 7th place in the round. Considering the lack of any skills that gave movement I suffered and the terrible RNG, we were lucky to place that high. The broadcast takes a brief break and does some interviews with the team's favorite to win, then starts the next match. Then they say, oops, false start, and restart it. We land at A-Bomb, which looks clear, then work westward. After hitting level 3, we run into Guzu and Annie Fuchsia. We take Guzu out and Annie gets away. We dance back and forth a bit. One of my attacks appears to go straight over the enemy's head due to me being knocked in the air, Z-axis shenanigans. At this point, I have 1 movement skill, Fairlight has 0, and they have 2 each. We get run down. We split up so that they have to choose one of us, and Fairlight gets out alive. He manages to double back and revive me after they leave, and I scrape together a new build with random stuff we find. Fair gets a motorcycle, and we quickly realize he has less practice than me at driving the motorcycle, as he tries to smash it into someone who is reviving, and instead switches gears. Unfortunately, this then changes the 2v1 into a 2v2, and we lose. Fair's on the run again, but dies moments later to Snuts. Now, to be clear, we could have gotten higher placements by doing rat gaming from the beginning. This tournament style actually encourages anyone shooting for 2nd to 8th place to just hide. But we were honestly making a real effort for 1st place, but bad RNG, a few bug slicing wins, and getting plain outplayed was not making that look lightly. We do the math and realize that we have fallen from our original 4th place start considerably and cannot possibly get back up to 8th place by doing rat strats, 8th place being the last place that has big cash prizes. So we go all in and start trying to think up the highest risk and reward things that we can do for a 1st place finish. And to summarize the last 2 matches, it didn't work. Although I did get to pay my respects to Walkrindor. Due to 2 matches where we got a solid number of points and 3 matches where we got picked off early, we ended in 14th out of 30 teams. Not bad, still in the top half, but not good enough for any special accolades. That was basically where our relevance in the tournament ended. It was a lot of fun, and I wish it had gone differently, but we put in 50 hours of practice beforehand each, so I have no regrets on our preparation. I think the event itself was a huge success in that the point of it was clearly marketing and raising awareness of Plunderstorm as a new product. Although the prizes would have been nice, I don't think they were shooting for a fair and even tournament, but rather a show with a lot of big names. We had people that had never played WoW, like Fairlight, and people who played it at its absolute peak, like Maximum and Peekaboo's teams. Some teams had 2 veterans and others had 0. To put this into perspective, the team with the most kills at the end was Peekaboo and Zaryu. Each of them individually had more kills than any other entire team in the tournament. I also learned a lot about battle royales from this experience. There's absolutely a skill factor in this, I 100% recognize that, but luck is a much bigger part of it than I expected. As Fairlight explained, in a normal battle royale, if 2 people drop down next to each other and one of them happens to find a shotgun in a box and the other one does not, the guy with the shotgun wins 99% of the time. In this game, in those early game fights, things like Smack-a-Roll and Fire-Whirl were the shotguns. If someone gets one of those and jumps you, you could barrel away, but they could barrel after you. And then they win, and you're dead, if they wish to do so. The tournament rules. You got points for placements above 20th place in each round, and points for kills. If you weren't confident in your ability to kill, the best way to get points was hide. In fact, some of the top winners had 0 kills at the end. 10+ teams were doing this, meaning all the XP they absorbed would then be hidden in the mountains somewhere, making it harder to catch up after any setbacks. They also have a system where starting in Game 7, anyone in the top 10 slots on the scoreboard wins the entire tournament if they win that match. And if we reached Game 8, anyone who wins Game 8 will win the entire tournament. In the case of the Creator Royale, we got to Game 7, and the, I believe, 8th place team won the entire thing, pushing the 1st place team down to 2nd place, despite the fact that Peekaboo and Zaryu had double their score. As someone who is generally outside of Battle Royales looking in, I found this really strange. Like, I understand the reasoning for it. It's to keep people trying, so that people who are really far behind don't just give up and be lazy when they keep pushing hard in those last few matches. However, if you were in the top 8 from hiding in a bush, you would still want to hide in bushes in the last match to secure your spot. Additionally, the live audience at the very least did not seem happy about the outcome when they were told that the team who had been monstrously dominating the entire event lost. Also, I am glad I got to meet Fairlight. He was awesome and was clearly a gamer. He just hadn't done MMOs before, as I had not done much Battle Royale before. He went from being unable to control his own camera to winning 60-man free-for-alls during his practice, and his community was awesome too. I would happily do another collab with him given the chance. Overall, I had a lot of fun playing Plunderstorm. I could have easily just not practiced, shown up for the event, gotten paid for my time and left, but it was such a fun game mode, and I thought I had a chance at winning that sweet prize money. I was happy to grind for the week leading up to it. It was a fun experience, and I'm glad I did it, even though it was outside of my comfort zone. Oh, also, I never got to fight Asmon because he died super early in every round, except one where he hid in the house the whole game. So I accomplished one goal at least.